Oh, I gotta log into the other side. Hold on.
All right, I think we are live, but let's.
Let me check the channel. Where's she?
And we got. Oh, yeah, there we go. We are live. I see it.
You see us on YouTube? On the tubes?
Check 1, 2. Let me see if I hear myself. Check 1, 2.
Let me see.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna share this link.
Oh yeah, yeah. There we are. One watching. It's you.
Okay, link. Hey all. We are live. Let's chat. Oh, I spelled live wrong. Okay, hold on.
Mm.
You want to put it on Twitter that we're live?
Yeah. Let me get the link.
I wish I had a drink. Oh, should I go grab a drink?
Yeah, dude. Why not? Why not? I actually gotta show. I actually gotta show you something. It's actually pretty cool.
Before I grab the drink.
No. When we're going, grab a drink. Grab a drink.
Okay. I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Let's see. Boom. Blah blah blah. Yes, I got it. Yes, I got it. Oh yeah. Let me see. All right, for anyone watching, I'm going to use this for the first time. This is probably the coolest gift that I've gotten in a minute. Someone got me this today, and I'm gonna break it in today. So, Vitaly, I'm gonna have a drink with you, my friend.
Okay, I'm coming back. Coming back.
I don't know if you saw, but my buddy, oh, there you go. My mutual friend, a mutual friend, you know, my friend Chris got me this.
Is that the Tesla tequila? What is that?
It's from Tesla. It's the sipping glasses with stand. So I'm like, yo, let's throw some gentlemen. Let's do a little. Oh yeah, record too.
Just recording, just in case.
For real. I'm just like, yo, let's do a little gentleman jack. You know,
look at that. I'm getting legit. All right.
Let's do. Oh, you got to set the permission for me to record.
Okay, hold on a sec. This is a late night party, y'all.
Okay. It's late for you, boy. Why don't you start by telling everybody where you are?
Michigan, skiing on a mountain.
Wait, set it to record.
Oh, hold on a sec. Okay.
Now, how does this work? Oh, it's pretty cool.
Okay. You should be set. You should be good to go.
Yo, it's pretty cool.
That's nice.
And I guess you take them both and you put them like that.
All right. That's where all our money went, into those two glasses.
Right. That's the biggest return I've gotten on Tesla all year.
Okay. So let me see what we got. Let's share right away. Let me just share the screen. What's going on?
Oh shit.
Here we are. We got on our Discord. So anybody who's I don't know if anybody's watching even, but let me see.
No, Johnny Boy's taking us seriously. He thinks we're actually crying. What do you say?
All right, 11 watching.
He's like, you guys need to stop overreacting. We're just adding to the drama. It's like it's a joke, man.
Okay, well, at least you got some people there also who want to cry with us. Okay, so this is, you see this, right? You see what's on the screen?
Yeah.
So, you know, we have a big bear on our channel named Chris Patel. I just want to point him out. But
what, in general, like, or just on Tesla?
I think he's a big bear and everything.
I think he's a bit skeptical, which is not bad. I mean, the guy's making money, so as long as he's making money, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you can have the wrong perspective but still be right. So meaning like all the bears are coming out because this is the best time to come out. The macro's total shit. The Fed is still raising technically. So if that's happening and stocks are literally collapsing in on themselves, Tesla's collapsing in on itself. Let's not fool ourselves, okay? Because if we're just talking about valuation and growth, it shouldn't be at this price, right? It shouldn't.
Yes. But here's the deal: when all those guys, the Gordon Johnson, were calling for a $70 Tesla or a sub $100 Tesla, they weren't thinking about the Fed. They weren't talking about a war in Ukraine. They weren't talking about.
No.
They weren't thinking about any of this
But
stuff.
but this is what I mean. They could still be right.
That's the thing, exactly. But they're not right. They didn't call the shot. Right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. They're going to be ending up right because Jerome Powell created the situation where this is happening. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter how we get there. It doesn't matter if, for example, if we are collapsing and what's his name released just a video. The guy, I don't know, you don't love him, but the Into the Cryptoverse guy, he said Tesla classic bubble. And if you look at the stock chart, it looks like a classic bubble. I'm not, like just looking at the chart, forgetting about fundamentals for a second.
Yeah.
So if the bears are in charge and they're trading on technicals, it can totally collapse. And that might mean, I know Johnny Boy's not going to like this, but Enphase might have a hard time just because nothing to do with fundamentals. And I'm a bull on that. But if the macro is this way and Jerome Powell is still raising, he hasn't slowed down yet. Yeah. He hasn't actually stopped. And he hasn't reversed course. This hasn't happened yet. It might, when that happens, we can discuss a new thing, but he hasn't done that. So I think, why can't it fall? Like Netflix collapsed, Meta collapsed, Google's basically down 60%, Amazon has lost $1 trillion, and we were talking on the phone. $1 trillion.
This is no joke. I know, but people. But for some reason, the story around Tesla is that it's coming back down to its normal valuation. This is all Elon Musk buying Twitter. It's like Jeff Bezos, and Amazon didn't buy Twitter. This is just markets panicking. I really think it's markets panicking.
But the thing is, the panic. Hold on, you mentioned the thing, but the panic can accelerate. It might not have actually panicked enough yet, because Jerome Powell has not stopped. So meaning it can actually accelerate. So I brought up Chris Patel. He's wrong about everything fundamentally. Absolutely 100% wrong. Doesn't know what the fuck's going on. 100%. Right. But the bears are out. They could be right, just that everything's going to shit and they're going to make money because everything's going to shit. Not because they're fundamentally right. But that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's whoever makes the money.
Right. But it's also a bit of this. It's also a self-fulfilling prophecy because, look, this was this morning. Closed out my margin, relinquished 13% of my shares, no margin calls. Hopefully I can buy some. This is Jason DeBolt.
Well, let's talk about this guy. I've been following him for years.
I've been following him for years too, but he tweets this morning. He had no choice but to get rid of 13% of his Tesla shares. It sucked. It's only 20% of the 30,000 shares that I lost in 2018, getting better, sold because of macro, extremely bullish on Tesla in Q4. And I think how many other people are in the same situation that were over leveraged on Tesla and have no choice but to sell? Right. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy when you squeeze it enough, you trigger the margin calls. It's like the opposite of a short squeeze, it's like a margin squeeze. And I think that's part of what you're seeing happening. I wouldn't sell a single share of Tesla if I didn't have to, but if I was margin called deep, you'd have no choice.
No, but this is what I mean. When the people like Jason DeBolt, who have been living off of margin, by the way, he was very proud of the fact that for the last 3-4 years, he quit his tech job and he's been living off of margin. All of a sudden, so he's not living off of margin. Tesla's crashing. He's now lost a small fortune right now.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker's going to have to go back to work. That's what I think is going to have to happen.
You think so? I'm sure he's worked it out. If he's smart,
he's going back to work.
What the hell did he do? What did he do before?
He was a tech guy. He worked at Google or something. I don't know what company, but
he'll get a consultant job or he'll just go.
No, but my point is,
when you and me say work, you know what I mean? You know what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking of real work.
Well, I don't know. We're not garbage men here, so I'm not. I don't know what you mean by real work. I'm not a surgeon.
It costs hours and hours and hours a week of time dedicated, a lot of mental energy. I'll sit on board meetings and write emails all day.
All right. Let's see what some people are saying because I am curious because I haven't seen if anyone's saying anything.
Well, I'm looking on the. I'll just look on the. Oh man,
I'm showing this.
All right. First of all, I agree with Cameron Vincent that snowboarding is better. He said that he's responding to you saying you're skiing. I agree. Snowboarding is 100% better.
I'm too old. I actually can't snowboard, so forget about that.
His legs don't bend that way.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bears need their day in the sun. This is Larry Dorcas. Dex is probably going to keep getting wrecked. Maybe it bottoms before the S&P 500. This is Dex.
Cameron Vincent, wait till it's $70. You know what? He's saying that because, in fact, in the chart I have, should I bring up the chart real
Yeah,
quick
let's
on
bring up the
Tesla?
chart. I mean, it seems like
Matt, this
you
is all
you
over the
can't not
board.
talk. I think the story of this year was the utter collapse of Tesla and everyone and the discussion, the debate around why it collapsed.
So this is the chart I've been tracking for a long time. I have not changed anything for this particular crash yet. But if we're just following trends, I mean, honestly, Tesla back at $70.
Is
He's
the
not
next
he's not wrong at $70. The next stop, if I was to say, was actually this is
62?
where there's some support here, $60, $62, somewhere around here.
What would that market cap
Uh,
be? There are 300 billion now at $100, so it would probably be like 250, right? Like 250 billion.
yeah, and honestly, look, we were buying it at 40 billion.
I know.
And so even at 250 billion, even if it stopped at 250 billion when it stopped and didn't
Yeah,
continue,
yeah,
like we would still be up. So that's the thing. It's still crazy. If you got in early enough, you're still up 10x, if not 20x, right?
yeah.
But absolutely, this can go to 70. This is just collapsing. But in the meantime, by the way, I think there will be a massive bounce. I think the RSI here, what are we at? Oh my God, this is the lowest
the
it's ever
worst.
been.
I know it's the worst. It's the
Look at this.
lowest it's ever been.
Yeah, yeah. Let me move this
I
out of the
put
way.
something on
But
Discord the other day when I saw
we're
that
at 17, 18.
yeah, it hit like COVID
Yeah.
levels. And now look at that. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. But again, like
Yeah.
we should bring up an Amazon chart. I just want to see where Amazon's RSI is. I want to see where Meta's RSI is right now.
Well, I feel Meta has already bottomed, but we can take a look at that.
Man, you know what? The last couple days,
Uh,
like I've been watching a lot of videos about what's his name.
Amazon right here. Amazon's still it's somewhere in the middle. I wouldn't say it's low yet because it was low. You see where it touched? It went down all the way here
Yeah,
to like 20.
yeah.
So it's somewhere around 38 right now. I wouldn't say it's terrible right now in terms of that.
Where's Meta?
And oh yeah, Amazon's crashing too, so we can cover that.
Meta's
And
actually
Meta, well, actually, no. I drew this channel here. Meta looks like it's hitting some resistance. We might be heading lower. Never mind. Yeah, I think we might be heading lower. But RSI is actually not too bad, 50s. So, but we're having a bunch of resistance. Here's a trend line I drew for the RSI. Here is a trend line I have for Meta, and I think we're here fighting with the 20-day. We might be tanking as well. I'm hoping it holds the $80, whatever it went
20
to.
day or the 200 day?
No, this is the 20-day,
That's
the
the
red
21
line.
day. Damn.
You see that, the red
Yeah,
line?
it's just in free fall, dude.
I think it's the 20. Oh, nope, I'm sorry. It's the 50-day. My bad. That's the 50-day. So it's fighting the 50-day. And the green line is the 200 here. And yellow, I don't like. I don't like yellow. So let me just change that to maybe
Right.
orange so we can see it better.
Yeah.
So let's zoom in there for Meta, even though. Okay, a Meta is actually in between the 21 and 50. Can you guys see that, or can let me just
Mhm.
zoom up?
Yeah, but with that, I mean,
But yeah,
they're
it's fighting the
gonna-
50-day.
They're gonna cross.
Yeah.
They're gonna cross. And that could actually be
Well,
bullish. If that 21 gets above the 50, even for a little bit of a bounce back to that trend line.
well, yeah, but right here, I don't know if we're going to break it in this environment, honestly. So I'm expecting we see somewhere around here again. I think the lows were in the 80s. That wouldn't surprise me, but I do think we hit the lows for Meta. I don't think we're going lower than 89, whatever this was, whatever
I
the
think that's
bottom
famous
was.
last words, dude. I
That
think
is famous last
I
words.
just,
I
I
agree
just
there.
think, I mean, just, oh, I can't share,
Yeah.
but like,
Here,
I just,
I could exit. Yeah.
well, like we were saying on the phone, I just don't think that anything can push past the Federal Reserve rates until we get that pivot. It's like in 2020, man, the stock market was just completely crashing until the Fed said, don't worry about it. We're going to print money. And once they said that, then it was off to the races. I just think that no matter what people are trying to attribute this to, this is what it's about. And I was actually looking up to see when the next meetings are going to be, and see how they're timed with like earnings calls. Okay, so the next meeting is February 1st. So that'll be right after Tesla earnings. Tesla's going to have the earnings on the 25th.
So we have 30 days of blood coming
it's gonna
up.
just keep tanking. I mean, I just don't see anyone that's gonna. I mean, you can DCA, you can buy a little bit now, but I've essentially just put the brakes on that because what's the point? I just don't. I could see Tesla at $70, and if that's the case, I'd rather have the money sitting on the sidelines until then, and then buy heavy.
Yeah, yeah. So on this, I agree. That's what I go back to. Like the Bears are the only reason they're right about any of this is because the Fed pivoted, meaning it changed to being super bearish and raising rents. That's what I mean by the pivot. Like it's quantitative tightening, all that stuff is happening, and it makes sense in retrospect. We should have been more cautious over a year ago, and basically sold everything. But
Yeah, I mean, it was on the sell side. I mean, I don't feel bad about the DCAing part, but yes, I do think that I could have taken more profits.
right, you can always take some more
I
profits.
just, but that's
Absolutely.
always been my thing. I would rather, I don't know. I always hold on. I always just rather just buy and hold. It's hard to break that mentality of just buy and hold. Don't ever sell your assets. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a house. I don't sell my house every time there's a dip or a
Yeah.
bump.
And I want to make it clear that, yeah, I'm not selling everything. That's not happening. I don't go in and out of positions left and right.
Mhm.
Uh, if I feel that my final end goal has not been hit, and including Tesla and Enphase, then the majority of my shares will always be just sitting there. I'm not saying I won't trade a small amount like I usually do. I did some covered calls of Enphase recently. You know, if you look at our Discord, where I sold when it was 300 and change, I sold a couple of covered calls, took some money off the table in terms of like had the
But that's
premium, right?
different. You're taking premiums. It's not the same as.
Well, yeah, but I was like pretty sure it's not going to 400. That was my bet.
Mhm,
So I sold the covered calls, basically $400 strike.
mhm.
One of them is expiring, I think, in January or February, and I'm pretty sure we won't be at $400 at
I
that
just who is
point.
buying these who is buying these call options?
Listen, there's bullish people out there left, and we got to take their money. Okay.
I guess, but I'm saying like, what is the reason? If you wake up that morning and you're like, I really want to buy some Enphase calls, it's like, but what? Why? What are you
Yeah.
reading that's making you think that this is going to hit $400? Although,
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
Enphase has been really resilient this year. Like, I think that it might just kind of sleep through this. I just don't think that Enphase is on anyone's radar in that sense. It's exciting for us being nerds, but it's kind of a boring company. Like Badri's kind of boring. They just go to work every day, make their money, improve their products. It's like what I want from government. I really wish that my government was as boring as Enphase, where they just
Right.
execute and just do what they got to do. They don't talk much. They give you the news straight. So yeah, I think they might actually just skirt through this thing. I don't see Enphase.
Well, you know, we might be lucky with the Enphase thing. You want to go big for this and talk about this for a minute,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Let me get out of
instead
this.
of the Forbes article?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's two situations, two scenarios, like you're saying.
Well,
One is
Enphase,
they're so boring. They're not a meme stock,
right.
meaning like as opposed to what Chris says that they're a meme stock, but nobody covers them. It's like me, you, and like two other guys that maybe talk about it occasionally, but even no one covers it as well as we do. You know what I mean? I think Meet Kevin is the biggest YouTuber, but he doesn't really cover it. He talks about it here and there,
Yeah,
mentions it,
yeah.
and it's part of his ETF.
It's just not. I mean, it's just not like one of those super exciting. It's not like a
Right.
Nip, right, where you have this obnoxious CEO making these outrageous claims. They're
Yeah,
just
but
executing on a plan, dude. That's all they're doing. They actually are going to work. They're like the nerd guys that just want to actually do. They want to just execute the mission of the company. That's it. That's all they care about.
well, let's bring it up. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not in a bubble. It doesn't. I just want to be clear about that.
And Tesla PE, Tesla forward
Enphase.
PE below Coke.
So Enphase, I feel like I don't, I don't think it's going to crash past a certain point. But I've always had this channel since it entered this new channel,
What,
and
this is
if I was,
Enphase?
yeah, if I was to extend this out a bit, I mean, the low is still $160 if it wants to get there, so $150. And if it just wants to test these bottom ones, I don't know if you see like these bottom points. 100 in a real bad environment is $100 out of the question. I don't think it's out of the question. Would that be the most massive buying opportunities of your people's lives who are watching? 100%.
Yeah.
And Chris would never understand this. He will probably be shorting it even all the way past $100,
But he,
all
but he
the way
would make
down.
but he'd make money because he would make. You can't say he wouldn't
He,
make money from
he would make it
275.
from now to 100, absolutely, and never get the 10x that's coming after that. Absolutely. So I'm not worried about Enphase's long-term trajectory, but in the interim, anyone who's so bullish that thinks that this can't go down to 150 to even 100, it is possible that it just reconfirms that this is the trend. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm,
Why can't I reconfirm that? Like even if it just reconfirms this part, it's $160 around, $170.
mhm.
So why not? Once again, I think in a very bad environment, I see no reason that it can't do that. But let me go to Enphase. What is their forward PE real quick?
Here, and then while you have it, I'm just gonna give you a link in the chat to check.
So,
I'm trying
well,
to here,
their current PE is 142, but let's see their forward. It's,
61.
I mean,
Oh, no,
61.
but
Look,
that's trailing 12 months, right?
yeah, but so is this too much? I would say, it could be too much right now. Like
I mean, look, that
for
is high, but it's exactly the same as it was in 2021. Look at that, Q4.
right, but once again, let's not look backwards into a time when we were all like pumping, right? So I don't
No, but
know
I'm
if we
just
should.
saying, if you look at the pattern, it trades, it's been trading at
Well, it trades
61.35,
rich. It trades rich.
and
Absolutely,
then
100%.
there's a bit of a correction throughout the year.
Yeah. I mean, but look, is there a scenario where I can see this cut in half? Like, why not?
In this environment, of course it
Yeah.
could,
I mean, like,
of course.
I know we have Johnny Boy who's a bull, but come on, why not?
But
Why can't it just?
if this was look, people could need money. This is the thing. Like, people don't always sell out of a stock because they don't believe in the company. As you're seeing this macro environment, if you have margin calls, like if you have
Yeah.
margin calls and you have a bunch of Tesla stock and you're sitting on a bunch of profits from Enphase, you might sell some Enphase to cover your Tesla position. I mean,
And I agree, but here's an interesting thing. So current year, Enphase growth is 67%. If Wall Street is predicting less growth, if this is actually going to happen and come true,
mhm,
why can't it cut it? I mean, like honestly, it can be cut in half, no problem. Absolutely no problem. If
it's
this is
so
true.
robust.
And doesn't mean this has to come out true by the end of 2023, but it could be cut in half and just come back double again. Like that's what it does.
Mhm,
It falls in half, it comes back up.
yeah.
So just people should be aware of that because everybody was trying to buy Enphase at $300. I don't know why they're doing that.
No, no, no. I
Um,
mean, if you've been watching our channel, you wouldn't.
yeah, I mean, we've been saying we haven't been buying Enphase at all. In fact, I'm selling covered calls. I sold some shares in order to pay for some things I wanted, like the Tesla. Okay, so I've done all of this stuff in order to live my life as opposed to keep all the shares, of course. But I still have a lot of shares, and I'm not going to get rid of them. But yeah, it can be totally cut in half as long as I'm not in margin, which I'm not in Enphase or Tesla, these growth companies. Then I'm not too worried. But do I like to see it? No, of course I don't like to see it.
In the chat, we've got people saying the difference between a retail stock and a meme stock, telling you clean energy money inflows will be flowing out of Tesla and into Enphase. This is Homey Productions thinking that money is going to flow out of Tesla into Enphase. On that note, can you click the link that I sent you in the chat, and then like scroll down to the middle? There's a chart there. It's pretty interesting.
Are you asking me to click the link?
Yeah, I sent you a link in the chat. It has to do with what
Okay.
retail investors were buying this week. Interesting to see.
Okay, hold on.
I think most will be buying Tesla under 100. This is Nate Endicott saying, I think most will be buying Tesla under 100. Will be much harder for it to collapse as fast as it has. I agree. I think there's a buoy point with the retail investors. So I don't know if it was a conversation on the finance junkies thing, but apparently about 3 weeks ago to a month ago, the split between retail investors versus institutional investors in Tesla was 45-45. It was basically even, with the remaining 10% being insiders. And I'm really curious. That's what I'm trying to find right now, is what's the spread right now? Because I feel like we are getting to a point where retail investors will actually be the majority of the shareholders in Tesla. So if you look down, if you scroll down in the middle, you can see that this is what in retail investors were buying this week.
Which one? Where do I go?
Right there, that chart, retail dip buying.
Oh,
Right there.
here?
Yeah. So I think this is the millions of dollars. Yeah, this is in hundreds of millions of dollars.
Net buys right there.
So 100, what is that? 110 million? Or is this shares?
Yeah, I mean, like the problem is, look, retail was great to prop up the stock to the $40 billion point, like sort of Enphase too, meaning
Mhm.
like that's a point where retail can maybe have some control. I don't know if you can control a company that's hundreds of billions of dollars with retail money.
No, but it's the point is
Yeah.
that eventually enough money, enough institutional money comes back out that it essentially acts like crypto. When crypto was around anywhere from $10 to $20,000, that was all retail. Then the institutions started piling in, and now we're getting to that buoy point where basically this is just the people that actually believe in the company. So it gets harder to crater if all the institutions are out. And
Yeah.
so in that sense, I do agree with who was that? Someone, yeah, Nate. that below 100, below 100, it starts to get like, who else is left to sell? And any retail investor, even if they sell, they're not moving the stock the way the institutions are. They just don't have
Okay,
enough
well,
shares.
who is left to sell? The problem is retail has always been fickle. Uh,
Yes. Well,
so
especially
I
if they're
think
in margin.
I think as besides the margin calls, as it drops, I feel there's someone who's saying, I don't want to
I've
lose all
had
my
enough. Yeah,
profits.
yeah. I've had
Yeah,
enough. Yeah,
like
yeah,
at
yeah.
$100, you're like, maybe that's enough. At 90, the next set of people like, I've waited too long.
Yeah,
Damn it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then at 80, it's total capitulation, by the way.
Right, but then we
Like,
get to then what we're saying is Tesla's a shit coin because that's what happens to Cardano and and Doge during these runs.
well, during a panic,
90%.
during the panic, even 2020, the reason it lasted so short, which we didn't understand, was because the Fed turned the printers on really fast. Like within 30 days, the printers were
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
So, but in these panic moments, things can get completely ludicrously undervalued, right?
Mhm.
So
You mean like oversold?
completely. I mean, but way more than that. I mean, it's just like a total bank run, and the door is this big, and everybody's trying to get through that same door, and then the price just falls. And we saw that with a couple of companies we were tracking in 2020. Remember when Lyft went from 30 to 50 or 13, went from like 30 to $15, $13, all within like an hour.
Yeah,
It
like a
was like
second.
crazy. It was like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
massive sell-off.
Yeah, everyone ran out the
So
door.
I
But that
think
was yeah, yeah. But that yeah,
we
yeah.
haven't
No, I
had
hear
that
you.
yet, by the way. Tesla hasn't had that yet. We haven't had the it's been slowly going down 10%, true, but I'm talking about the massive run out the door. We haven't had that. And even Amazon hasn't had that and Google hasn't had it. I think Meta might have had some of it.
Meta, well, that
Netflix
last
had some of it.
Meta had it. I think
Yeah.
Meta had that moment where the people were like, "I'm just
Like
taking my
20,
profit."
30% down in a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
day. So
I'm
I
gone.
don't think we've had that in Tesla yet. And maybe that's when we get that. That's when I can like go heavier because right now I feel like I bought some today, but I feel like I really should slow this roll and just see what
Just wait.
happens.
I know, me too. And it's against my instinct. I mean, I want to buy more Bitcoin and I want to buy more Tesla, but I'm just gonna hold. I'm just gonna wait. I feel like Benjamin in crypto into the cryptoverse tweeted it. 2022, the year the cash is king, and he's true.
He's
Like
been
this is
right
the
all
year.
year. He's been
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
this all year, by
Just
the way.
hold cash, and he's right. So I've DCA'd enough, and I'm just gonna hold and plan my strategy accordingly. This time I'm really just gonna wait till the Fed. Until that Fed pivots. I just don't think we're gonna see any substantial bounce back. I just don't see how it happens. And so I can't, in good faith, invest,
No, no,
buy
no.
more this. I
I
just
think they
can't.
can. I think they control everything. I don't think me and you gave them enough credit. I don't think anybody has given them enough
I
credit.
was trying. Listen, I was trying to. I mean, because we were talking a lot about fundamentals and the forward PE. The PE's come down too much. Or the reality is like that's not the money that we're looking to take. The money that's going to allow us to like retire, like independently wealthy, is coming from institutions. And so
Yeah,
we need them to be on board. So what are they looking at before they pile it? Same thing on the crypto side.
right. Damn, Chartmaster was right. CNBC.
But he was wrong 100 times. And this one time he's right, he's gonna gloat. Like
No, but this is the thing. The bears
coming.
come out. Like me and you are up 10, 20x.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tesla, Enphase. And then the bears come out and say, well, we could make 50% on our money. I'm like, dude, we 10x'd our money. So I don't know what
Listen,
you're talking
and
about.
here's what's funny. I am still massively up on my crypto position.
Yeah,
Still
and Tesla and
massively up.
Enphase
I'm
and
not
crypto.
worried. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, so yes, I've lost a lot of money, but it's paper money. Like I've lost a mortgage,
Right, I've lost a house.
I've lost a house up here in Santa Clarita. I'm literally down a house, but I'm like, hey man, I am not a trader. I'm a long-term investor. And yes, I could have sold and taken some more profit, but I didn't. And so I'm not going to run out the door now. I'm in
Well,
this for the
that's
long
the
haul.
thing. I think you're bringing in a valid point. We didn't take it all at the top.
Yeah.
So to sell it all at relative bottom, even if it goes down another 40%, it's still a relative bottom considering
Yeah.
a 10x from here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because like if you think about it, okay, we might be stuck in this shithole honestly for years because
Another
the
year.
Fed
Yeah.
pivot a year. Well, no, a year to get it back to returning to go up, or even back to $300, and that's not where I wanted to sell it.
Right.
Meaning Tesla. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we can be in this 2025, 2026, 2027, but my goal was always the 1.5 to $2 trillion mark.
Mhm.
So if it was going to stay at $250 for 3 years or 4 years, I wasn't going to sell it anyway. I just wasn't going to buy it, right?
Yeah.
But now at $60 or whatever it's going to hit, $80,
You
$90
have to
bucks,
buy. You have to buy.
you basically have no choice. And your upside is now, instead of being what I was talking to you in the channel was like a 3x, it's now a 6 or 7x.
Right.
So
Exactly. Yeah. You get to
so
bring your average down. You get, because the thing is, you could hit your.
well, my
you
average
could
is
hit
already
your-
down. I'm bringing it up every time I buy shares. I
Well,
buy.
now, yeah, now, yes. But if it hits that $70, you're basically getting your cash out point could come earlier. Your cash out point could come at 800 billion. It could come at 900 billion.
Well, yeah. So basically, I'm thinking overload on certain stocks.
Yeah.
Enphase and Tesla being one of them. But I'm still going to wait till they sort of. And Enphase hasn't crashed yet, by the way. This is just my plan now that Enphase is coming down.
Yeah.
And it always has been. My plan was 220, 200, but honestly, it looks like there's no reason it can't go lower. Like, honestly, so I'm just at 220, I'm still going to start buying, but I think we might be in for some bloody messes here that are happening that people just don't want to admit are happening yet. And that this is important. Remember, bring up that chart of like where we are in the depression. We talked about this before, but bring up that chart.
Oh yeah. I got it. I'll find it.
And I don't think we're yet at the we've capitulated. I think especially our audience has not capitulated.
Right. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all basically.
And guys, we need you to capitulate. We're reaching out to you. If we can't get our 10x's without you capitulating.
If you haven't sold, please sell. Like if you guys are still somewhere in this in here, we need you to get to panic and hopelessness. Most opportunity, most worry. Yeah, this is where we need to be.
I'm waiting for Johnny Boy to get to hopelessness.
All right, when Johnny Boy's in hopeless, you back the damn truck up. You get that HELOC.
That's when I'm selling everything, and meaning my house is to go into Tesla and Enphase.
No, what was I going to show you? Okay, so today what I was doing was I was saying to myself, I was thinking like, okay, I'm so convinced that like as soon as the Fed pivots, like maybe we're going to get out of this thing. But then I was like, well, let me just like 10th man myself. What if that's not the end? What if the Fed pivots and Tesla's still tanking? Like what would cause that? And I'm saying to myself, oh shit, I think then the story would become about supply chain. Or did you see the Ryan Shaw video that dropped a couple days ago about the fake Teslas are coming?
Oh yeah, the Chinese knockoffs and all that.
Chinese knockoff, yeah. And I was thinking like, oh shit, like they opened up their patents. Like anyone could go make a plaid motor right now. He told you how to make it. You wrap the rotor in carbon fiber.
Right.
Like anyone can go make a fucking plaid motor right now. Like I was like, oh man, like maybe there's something to it. Like, in other words, not being so convinced that like, oh, okay, when this happens, it'll stop the bleeding. It's never that easy. It's never that simple.
No.
Like it has not been that easy being a Tesla investor. You gotta, it's like landmine. So anyway, I was looking at that and then there was that video. What was it? It was the video here. We don't have to play it. I thought it was new. Like it just showed up in my feed. It
Go
was
ahead,
this
play
video.
it. Why not?
No, it was this one. It was Jeremy's the margin call thing, but he actually wasn't margin called. He was talking about margin and he was whatever. The point is he was talking about.
So wait, his video is another clickbait title of just got a margin call and he didn't get a margin call.
I don't think I haven't finished the whole thing, but he was talking about somebody who wrote something about, let me see, it's right here. Right. Someone who wrote, I just got margin called and I have to top up my deposits. I can't afford it to go any further. But mind you, this was 2 weeks.
That guy screwed.
2 weeks ago.
Henry Bennett, you're fucked.
But that's 2 weeks ago. And how much more are we down from that point? Right. So he starts explaining about margin, but he brings up a good point here. He brings up a good point about Carvana and about how Carvana is going to go bankruptcy. So so that used car markets are about to be flooded with a bunch of inventory and how that suddenly becomes an alternative to say people that don't want to buy a higher priced Tesla that could counteract some of the effects of the $75 tax credit. So in other words, these are things that you just have to take seriously. You have to consider these things as part of it, that like, okay, the Fed could pivot tomorrow and say rates are going to zero and Tesla could still stay at $100. Like it might not recover. So this is a real test.
I don't know about that. If it actually went to zero, I think we're back in the loop, but that's not happening.
Maybe I'm exaggerating a bit. But like, unless they went to zero, it's like, even if they go back to 2, 3, 4, 5%, the bears will find other reasons why the stock should still be down. And like,
You know this is going to be another slog. And the first 10 years, remember that I wasn't invested in Tesla like in 2012. So they spent 10 years just going up and down between a certain price range. And then they got to another level and went up and down between $200 and $400 for years.
Yeah.
So we might be in another range but at the market cap of like 250 to 500 billion. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the range where it just bounces up and down. I could totally see that happening, by the way. Like, I don't
Yeah.
see any reason until Tesla's free cash flow and everything catches up to what is okay for car companies,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because Wall Street still does control the money. So if they want to value them as a car company, there's nothing me and you can do about it. That can't happen
But
until full self driving is out there. Until
yes,
the energy business is a real thing, meaning they're $1.5 trillion market cap on that. That's not there yet. So this could take years and years to play out, and we're just gonna have to be patient, honestly.
I know. I know. Man, there was a great tweet that I wanted to show. It was about okay, about Q4. If Q4 they post the earnings that we think they're going to post, it was, and this was part of I don't know if this was part of Jeremy's video. He was saying that Tesla's the only major car company that hasn't gone through a recession like this, and so this is the time where we're going to see how they respond to that, right? Both on like their free cash flow as well as how do they weather the demand, and how do they adjust pricing, right? All this stuff. There's a tweet I was looking for. God, I can't find it now. I should have saved it. And it was about if they post the numbers that we think, then Tesla will actually have enough runway, almost like 1.5 years, maybe 2 years worth of cash on hand. In which case, that puts them in a unique position to any other car company. But like the federal government would never bail out Tesla. Let's be honest. This administration would not bail out Tesla,
Right.
regardless. So
Trump
it's interesting.
2024 bails out Tesla.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I think he would. I think he absolutely would. But I don't know if it got to that point. If it got
I
to that
saved
point,
Tesla. I saved them.
I saved them really bigly. It was the best saving ever. No one saved better than me.
All right. Let's not go there. All right.
But
We'll read
listen,
it.
but that's another part of it. We might be in this if and or until a Republican takes over the presidency again.
I don't know
But
about that. I don't know about that. I think the Fed is in control of. I don't know if he's being political, meaning Jerome Powell. I don't think he's doing a Democrat Republican.
right, but do you think Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris win the White House in 2024, and the first thing they're going to do is praise Tesla?
No,
And give
obviously
Tesla
not. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Let's be honest.
But but if we return into normal economic conditions and we're not raising rates every month at this point, I don't know how many raises they've done. They've done a lot. So if we return to something more normal and the market can price that in a little better, that it's stopped and it's returning, because they're going to lower it. Let's face it. The way this country with all its debt, it's going to come down. I don't know what it's going to come down to. Maybe it's 3%. Maybe it's 4%, and then it
What, the rate? Oh,
stabilizes.
the rates, right.
I think the market shoots off as soon as it knows that it's not happening anymore. But
Yeah.
that could take a year. That could
Yeah.
take a year and a half.
But then again, then when that happens, I think once that's gone, then I think the conversation becomes about something else.
Well, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard if the cars are selling and $7,500 credit is there and more solar panels. You can't deny certain, like math. Like math at some point can't be deniable.
Right, but I mean, tell that to Gordon Johnson. He's been denying.
Oh, no. Forget about him. I mean, like this is the problem with the Bears. Gordon Johnson's been saying since Tesla's been like $20 billion that it's worth X amount of dollars, but it's never
Right.
been worth 20 billion. All of a sudden now it went up to $1 trillion, and okay, so he's right at $1 trillion. Maybe Tesla's not worth $1 trillion. But you see what I'm saying? At some point he's going to be wrong again. Maybe that's 200 billion.
Is he short Tesla?
I don't think he's ever. I don't know if he's ever actually shorted it.
So he's been
If
calling
he
for
has,
I'm saying he'd be rich. I got to look that up. If he's
no, he wouldn't be
there's
rich
different
because
being-
hold on. If he shorted Tesla from 20 billion to 1 trillion, you would not be rich. Okay, you would be totally bankrupt.
I'm saying he'd be right. He would have been one of those people that got flushed out. But I'm saying if he actually put his money where his mouth is, if he's
I doubt it.
No, I'm not finding anything. No.
No, but my point is, even now he's been wrong. So like, if you just listen to him, like a big deal, he's right for like 6 months, a year. Who cares? He's been wrong for 10 years. Like it doesn't even matter. That's my point. So every bear is out now. Chris Patel calling you out again. You're going to be right for a year. Congratulations. Congratulations, you fucking bear. All right. It just doesn't matter
Yeah, but
because
what is he so bearish about that you like, what is he? I mean, other than like being skeptical about Enphase or about solar, I don't think he's like a bear, like, oh, fuck Tesla, fuck Elon Musk. Like this.
no, to him, everything is overvalued. But the problem is when everything is overvalued, you're never going to invest in anything. You're just going to short everything for the rest of your. So when does it not become overvalued? When it's all $10? I don't know. Like, what
But
point
it's
does it
but
not
it's because
overvalue?
he doesn't. But it's because he doesn't believe in the story, right? If you don't believe in the story of a company, like then it's
Yeah,
always overvalued, right? Like if you
right.
okay, we never really talk about the bot. We don't really talk about this, but like this is clearly on Elon's right. If you understand what he's doing with his separate companies, the bots are going to be the workers on Mars. This is clear. The Cybertruck is going to be the vehicle on Mars. Like let's be honest. We're not pricing that in now, but if you believed
You
5% of
can't
that
price that
story,
in.
I'm
You
not,
can't price
but
that in.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, but if you believe in the story, I'm not saying you price it in, but I'm saying if you
Right.
believe in the story that like there's a greater than 50% chance that this is going to happen. If you believe there's a greater than 50% chance that Tesla's going to solve FSD, you don't have a problem with it. There's no such thing as a bear case. You understand? If it's a greater than
Well,
50%, you're like, this
look,
is going to happen at some point in my lifetime. I don't know when, but it's going to happen.
yeah, like the problem with being strictly math for these types of stocks, and I understand why they do that. I think Amit just talked to some guy who did, just ran some numbers and says Tesla's overvalued, blah blah blah. Okay, and he goes into why, because it's a car company, and car company's PE is this,
Right. But I
and
mean,
well,
okay.
Apple's PE is this, and blah blah
Right. Oh,
blah.
I saw the, yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
So
That's
no, but I
fine.
mean, like, as soon as you start comparing it in that respect, like, oh, Apple's PE is 20, why should Tesla be at 36? You start thinking, well, okay, maybe he does have a point. But the problem is the market has always priced in growth. Okay. And those stocks are very volatile, as we know. So if Tesla's growth is true at 50% compounded, right? If that's
Yeah.
true,
Yeah.
and let's say 2023, it's not true, it's 40% compounded, right? Then I understand why they're getting smashed, because we priced you in for 50. Like I've said this before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Price to
we priced you in
perfection.
for 50% and
Yeah.
you gave us 40%. So fuck you. Maybe you're going to 30%. We don't
Yeah.
know. But if they return back to the 50% in 2024 and 2025, they're going back to the moon, because we always price in those PE values based on the growth of the company, not just based on what Apple is doing or what Ford has done. It doesn't work that way. So that whole argument is totally flawed. And Chris has a similar argument about all this. When you do the math based on all these other things, it's stupid. Like, if you just think it's a car company, it's stupid. The valuation is dumb.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you start thinking, wait, hold on a minute, the energy business, it's a small business right now, but let's say 5 years from now, it's not, and it's growing at 80%. I think it grew 80% last quarter, right? Something like that, 70%.
Yeah.
So if
78,
it keep,
78.
even if it grows at 50% compounded, that's a whole different business growing at 50% compounded, not even the car business.
Yeah.
So forget about these bots. That doesn't even matter. I don't think the bots matter. I think just the energy part, the car part, and there's a software component. I don't know if it's full self-driving, but maybe it's just augmented driving, and
I mean,
Tesla doesn't
look,
actually get full.
Google is printing money because of its software, right?
Yeah,
And
it's like
Tesla is able
80%
to
margin.
right, and Tesla's able to
Yeah.
capture some of that, whether it on the full self-driving side, the infotainment. I mean, it's I don't know.
Yep.
I kind of see like when I see those arguments where they go, oh, but Apple, Apple's PE is this, whatever. Like what you're trying to do is you're
Right.
trying to compare like Mike Tyson to Michael Jordan. But they're in completely
Wait, which
different
one's better?
right. Like who's better? Who's better? Well, okay, Mike Tyson was
Uh,
around at this time and he was great at this, and boxing is a different sport than basketball, and basketball's a team sport. You can't really compare them. And that's how I feel about Apple. Like there were people that thought Apple was just a computer company, right? When Apple came out with the iPod, and
exactly.
they're just a computer company. That's all they do. They just make why not just buy Microsoft, or why not just buy Dell? But they clearly prove that they're much more than just a computer company. I just don't understand why it's so hard for people to grasp that. I don't know. So
Well,
some of these things seem so obvious to me,
I'm going to make another comparison based on your basketball thing, if I can do that. So it's a comparison like this. Apple's an old company and it had its growth moment, right?
Mhm.
So comparing that is like Michael Jordan, like, oh, the Bulls were amazing. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right.
but would you want Michael Jordan on your team right now? He's like 75 years old. Like, you don't want him on your team right now. You want LeBron James, okay?
Right.
And you're willing to pay LeBron James more than you are willing to pay Michael Jordan. Boom! I finally had a.
Yeah.
I-
But
I'm not
also
good with
LeBron James grew up watching Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he
Well,
has
but
the
you know what I'm
benefit.
saying? Like, you
Yeah,
don't want to
Michael
pay.
Jordan didn't have Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Well, no,
You
he had
understand?
somebody else. Larry Bird. I don't know.
But I mean, but it's nowhere near. When you're in the presence of the GOAT, or when you're the GOAT, you're the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like sometimes it gets a little bit crazy where people trying to, like you said, you have a bear case or you have a conclusion. Tesla's overvalued, and you'll look for
Mm.
anything to justify it. And you feel some security in the numbers saying, well, Apple's forward PE is this, and so therefore Tesla must
Right.
be overvalued. They're in completely different businesses. For Apple to
Well,
make
but
the
but
money,
then they say it's a car company. That's what I'm saying. Like, so once you leave the tech company behind, you
right?
go now. Okay, so let's compare it to car companies. And Ford
But
is like a
Apple's
six
not a car
PE.
company.
No, hold on.
You
The people
understand?
who
Like Apple's not a car company.
no, you're missing my point. Some people compare it to a tech company, and then they compare it to Apple. Oh, that's the best tech
Right.
company out there, so we should compare it to them. So everyone should have a P like Apple because that's what we're comparing it to. That's their argument, and that was like the whole Amit conversation, which was ludicrous. And that's sort
I
of
mean, look,
I
and that's fine. You can have that as a surface level conversation. But if you just
yeah.
look at revenue, right? How many phones does Apple need to sell to make the revenue, bottom line revenue that Tesla makes selling one Model Y?
Well, in terms of revenue, Apple does make shit ton of money more than
Right. But I'm
Tesla.
just saying, but how many phones do they need to sell? How many
I don't know,
customers is that? How many
10,000
chances?
phones,
Okay,
20,000 phones.
let's just say it's 5,000. Let's just say it's 1,000 phones. That's 1,000 customers. That's 1,000 chances for a customer to not be happy. That's 1,000 customer service issues that you could have. It's a lot more. It's a riskier. I think it's a riskier investment. It's a riskier revenue than it would be for Tesla to sell one Model Y. If they make that Model Y perfect, they'll never hear from that customer again. Where Apple has to
No,
make a
no.
thousand phones
See,
perfect.
I think your argument here is flawed
How?
because we don't want Tesla to sell one Model Y. The whole point it's being valued as a tech company is that there is some sort of like full self-driving going to happen, that there is an energy business, that there's a recurring revenue also going to happen. At least I'm pricing in that's whether it's full self-driving or just augmented driving, whatever they want to call it. Like
Right.
maybe you can't leave it alone, but you have to be there. But maybe $100 a month is worth it. Like I would pay $100 a month to not drive my car every single day. Like I'd have to
You could pay
sit there and still pay
199.
attention,
Yeah, you could pay 199 right now.
but it's still not quite there. You know what I mean? So as soon as they get to that point where it is there, then I think some people are pricing in like them as a tech company, and that's where we see that possibility. But if they only sold one Model Y and they never got any other revenue from it, it becomes a harder case because Apple at least figured out like, oh, we sell our phone, but we also want that, Apple TV, Apple Music. We want you to do the cloud storage. So we need Tesla to do something similar. And
Oh, no,
look, we
I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing with you on that front. Yes, you want to be able to continue to monetize that customer.
right.
But my point is, in order for Tesla to make, if they make, let's just say they sell a Model Y for 60,000, and let's just say 20% more. Let's say they make $20,000. In order for Tesla to make, in order for Tesla to make 20,000 in revenue, actual dollars, they need to sell one Model
Hmm.
Y.
Hmm.
Whereas Apple might need to sell, let's say, 100 phones. Let's just put that way, 100 phones. That's 100 different customers that are responsible for that revenue. That's 100 chances that you can fuck up something with that customer. Versus Tesla, if they just sell that one Model Y and they make it perfect, they'll never hear from that customer again on the negative side, on the downside. Now you're right, they can continue to monetize. And Apple, on the
Yeah.
flip side, is Apple has 100 opportunities to get $10 a month from each of those customers, whereas
Right.
Tesla can only get maybe 10, $20 a month or 199 a month from that customer on FSD. And if you don't get them, you don't get them. But this is again why I just don't think it makes sense to compare them. You have to look at what that company is doing, and you really have to listen to the CEOs. Like, it seems like only with Elon Musk do people really not listen to what he's saying in terms of where he wants to take the company. Whereas with Mark Zuckerberg, they listen to what he's saying in terms of where he wants to take the metaverse, what he wants to do with it, why he's spending the $10 billion a year.
And they hate him
his
for it.
conviction. They hate him for it, but they don't not believe him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They believe him, and they might disagree. Same thing with Tim Cook, where he wants to go. It's just a strange.
Well, honestly, we don't know where Tim
environment
Cook wants to go. He doesn't have these kind of talks, that open talks like Elon does, or even Mark Zuckerberg. He doesn't have that same relationship with the customer, honestly. So I think Apple's just executing on a plan Steve Jobs had left behind, and they're doing really well at executing that plan. But having said that, that doesn't matter. The point is they're not growing 50% compounded. I
know,
think
they're not.
that's what it goes back to.
Yeah, but
So-
they are printing. Like, I watched the All In podcast. There was a whole thing. Like, we got to talk about Meta at some point, because I just want to say it. Like, my instinct, I've been reading a lot on what's his name that left the company. I've
Yeah.
been watching a lot of videos on that recently because I'm trying to look. I don't know. I believe what I believe about Meta, but I was like, let me just research the other side, right? And I've been watching a lot of videos that have been breaking down the fall of that and what led to him leaving. And I'm just like, damn, dude, I think the situation is a lot more dire at Meta than I think, or than even we spoke about. Like a lot of the infighting and the arguing between where he thought he should take the company and where Mark's taking the company. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up
You're
because I
talking
just
about
want to
you're talking about John Carmack,
John Carmack, yes,
the
and
creator of id Software, Doom, Quake.
yes,
He was
who
behind the
recent
Oculus like creation. Like he helped create a lot of the
and
software
behind
for
like
it.
Horizon Worlds and beyond trying to execute that vision for Mark. Like, let's be honest, Mark can't do it. Mark can be the vision guy, like the Steve
Yeah.
Jobs, but he can't physically do it. And so, I was watching some interviews with him where he's saying sometimes these CEOs, he wasn't calling out Mark specifically, can ask for something that's just not possible at the moment, or is really hard. Or like an example he gave was like Facebook Meta got a lot of slack for the look of the avatars, right? Like they got a lot of
Yeah.
slack for how the avatars looked. They're like, oh, it looks like a video game from the 90s. And so there was a lot of embarrassment on the part of that team. And they were like, we really need to improve this. We really need to make the avatars look well. But Carmack was saying, if we do that, the processing overhead will limit the amount of people that we can have in the room. And what we really need to do is prioritize the social aspect of it. And there's a lot of
Right.
this infighting that's going on. Anyway, I just want to go on record. If this is part of like a 2022 wrap up in 2023, is like, I think the situation at Meta is a lot more dire than it may seem. And I was watching the All In podcast, and they were talking a little bit about Meta. Apparently, like 13 or 19% of the users between 18 and 25 were leaving Meta as of 2019. This is before the pandemic. They got a
Right.
bit of a bump during the pandemic, obviously, but they're projecting 45% of the people between 18 and 25 are leaving
Who's projecting
Facebook.
this and where are they going?
This is Facebook.
Instagram?
This is Facebook's.
I know, but if most of them are transitioning, we already discussed this on the Discord
Yeah.
too, but if TikTok is and it's getting banned slowly, but if there is an actual ban, those people have to go somewhere. But even if they don't, a lot of people use Instagram. I don't see them stopping. You use Instagram. I use Instagram.
No, here's the point. Here's the point.
My wife
I do-
uses
No,
Instagram.
I do use Instagram. And yes, most of those people are going to TikTok, but the bans that we've been seeing on TikTok were from government phones. It's not banning it in the US just
Well,
yet.
there was a school that was recently banning TikTok too.
Fine, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it's banned. It doesn't mean that
It's not banned
can
yet.
still
I'm not
have-
saying
you know
that.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's still, and like, look, I know a lot of people, and this is like sad to say, I know a lot of people that are addicted to it, like in a bad way where it is affecting their life.
I don't understand why there's like nothing value on it. And I'm not saying Instagram is the shiznit, but it's better than that.
What? I'm talking
Instagram
about
is
TikTok. I'm talking
I know,
about
but
TikTok.
I'm saying I don't understand because I've used TikTok to see like let me get into it, and
Right.
I can't get myself into it. I'm probably too old. That's the problem.
Because your brain is 40 something years old.
Right.
If we were
38. No, I'm
15,
just kidding.
right? Turn off the touch up my appearance filter in Zoom.
Oh yeah,
no,
let me
listen,
put
if
that
your-
on.
If
Hold
your
on.
brain is 15 years old, like if we were 15 years old, like would we?
How do I look now? Is it better?
And you look 10 years younger.
There you go.
Self-commercial.
All right.
The point is, you've got multi-billion-dollar algorithms that their whole job is to capture your attention. You are powerless at. I think it's a spectrum. I've seen it on the young end, like the 15 to 20 something, and then I've seen it on the older end, like the 40 something, 50 something, mostly women that just really nothing going on in their lives, and they just get consumed with this thing. And it's like it's really horrible. It's horrible to see.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm advocating for it, but yes, if those users are getting away from Facebook and going to TikTok, it's going to affect Facebook's monetization of those users. If it
Well,
gets
yes,
banned
this is what I
completely-
mean. If they're going to TikTok, yes, that's a problem for the long term. But I don't think they're going there. I think they're going to Instagram as well. So the Facebook users are transitioning to things that they will use. It's not Twitter. I don't care what anybody says. They still have only 300 million users, not the 3 billion. So
Right.
it's either TikTok or what? Or Instagram. I don't know what else is there. It's not Snapchat. Okay.
No, Snapchat got the show. All I'm saying is this: like, I've been watching a lot and just trying to consume a lot to really understand. like why this guy would leave this company. And I mean, there was just a lot like
Well, okay.
about people that are working on the metaverse being
Yeah.
forced to use it because they hate it and they just can't see themselves in it all day. They can't, they like
Well,
literally the
well,
people
first of all,
making it
Horizon World
all-
sucks.
Yeah.
I've actually went into Horizon Worlds. It totally sucks. That's not why I like the Oculus. That's the wrong reason. So I know Mark is pushing that, and I'm not, because he wants the whole work thing to happen there.
Yeah.
But he's too soon on that work thing. That's
Yeah.
probably not going to work out.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is working out. The educational part where you can learn how to play an instrument. You can have a virtual like learning with a teacher or something where you're more in one environment. You can play games collaboratively, like where you're actually in the game moving. These are different experiences. You can't
Right.
have that on a Switch. And I
You
have a
personally-
Switch.
Wait, but you personally, how much are you using the Oculus a week?
Once, twice a week.
Okay.
That's it. Once, twice a week. It's not like I'm addicted to it. I'm not in it every day, if that's what you're asking.
Right, but is that enough to sustain? Is that enough to power Meta?
Well, I don't think I am, if they want every 40-year-old, maybe not. I don't know about that.
Part of what they were saying, on the All In podcast was like, I talked to these people that are like so bullish on the metaverse and saying the meta, and they're saying, okay, well,
Are you using
for
it,
hardcore?
right?
It's for hardcore gamers, right? And then they go, but well, it's not really. Like the hardcore gamers use other stuff, but like it's great. So it's not the hardcore gamers. So then it's the casual gamer. It's the person.
I know. I heard the thing.
And
By the way,
like, no, it's not that. It's not that. Well, then
I heard
who
the shit.
who is the person
see, okay, Jason
that they're going to
Calacanis.
replicate a million times?
Jason Calacanis, this is his whole shtick, and he hates Mark Zuckerberg more than anything. In fact, to the point that I think he wants TikTok to win. I don't understand his whole philosophy. He just hates Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, that's just dumb. I think that's just dumb.
Well, that's Jason Calacanis. He's a total shithead when it comes to that. He just hates.
Yes,
Mark
he's a weirdo. Yeah,
Zuckerberg.
he's a
Okay?
weirdo. He's an emotional guy. Yes,
but ask me, because he doesn't use the Oculus. I have used the Oculus. Who's it for? It's for people not only like me, but I'll say why it's good for me. It's not that I'm in it 7 days a week, and I don't want to go in. I don't want to do meetings in it. I'm not trying to do like that kind of stuff.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Let me bring it up. I spend money on the games that they have there, but the games are also like educational in terms of like a drumming game, a piano game. There's like painting stuff where you do in virtual reality, and it's actually really good. So you can't have those experiences somewhere else.
Right.
So hold on.
But is that driving a multi-billion or $1 trillion market cap? Is what I'm saying. Is that?
I think.
What's the number?
Hold on.
The biggest bull case.
Hold on a second. It's basically. I'll give you a very similar example. When you had 1980, there was a cell phone. 85, the car phone or whatever, and I was like, who would want this? Even in the 90s, I was like, who would want this? And then everyone started getting beepers, and they started eventually getting flip phones, and I'm like, I was still saying, who would want this?
The Sidekick was the best. Anyone who's not born in the 2000s, the Sidekick was the best.
No, but I was even saying, who would want this shit? Like, who needs this? Who wants this? Everybody. Okay, eventually everybody would want this. The problem is we're seeing version like 1.0, 2.0 of it. We're not seeing version 10.0 of it 10 years from now. That's the problem. I think you're looking at what's happening now. You're not realizing 10 years from now, we're all going to be in some sort of, we're already getting there, but there is going to be some virtual environment around us.
My thing was, as we leave 2022, I want to go on record, and I just want to say, willing to be proven wrong.
Nobody wants this.
No, that I really think that Meta is in way dire situation financially than we may know as the public. I think Mark is going so heavy into this because
50 billion quarter a year. I don't know what it is.
I'm just saying. I want to go on record, and I want to say that I truly think that this is the beginning of the end for Meta. And part of what makes me think that is Carmack was saying that he doesn't think that Mark's idea that the metaverse should be owned and controlled, or like the Horizon world, like the main lobby of the metaverse should be controlled by one company, that it should be more like the way the internet is now, where it's like it's this open access thing. No one really controls it. Everyone has access, and it's up to like individual developers. Then the other part of it was
let me answer that one. This is what I feel you have lack of knowledge in VR. I actually have studied a lot of this and tried all these programs. There's a program called VR Chat that's across all platforms, including Oculus and everything. And that's where young people actually go congregate, not on Horizon Worlds. They go to VR Chat, and they actually do have conversations and talk. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do that. I'm too old. I need to hook up with real girls in the real
Right, but
world.
I know, but that's like me saying I'm really bullish on Tesla, but I'm buying a Volkswagen.
No.
Like you should use this
No.
shit.
I don't need to use VR chat and do that. But I
Why
see.
not?
I'm just too old for that kind of thing. I'm not trying to make new friends. Okay,
But like, why don't we chat? Why don't we chat on VR chat? I have
Hey,
right
if you
there.
want to go to VR chat, fine. We'll go one day and do
Like,
this an episode. In fact, guys, we're gonna do an episode on VR just so you see.
Let's do an episode on there. Let's see. I mean, here's the thing. If the
Hold on.
experience
No, but I'm
is
saying you're
that
missing the
much
point.
better,
You're still missing the point. The VR chat exists and it's cross-platform. Everyone can use it in VR, and Meta will not control this, by the way. So there you go. It's not going to be Horizon Worlds. It's VR chat. That's what it's going to be the future. It's going to be like the internet. What is the equivalent? Like Reddit. That's what it's going to be. If that's good.
okay, listen, I mean, if it gets there, if you're Reddit, if you're considered the front page of the VR
Yeah,
metaverse,
you will be. Yeah.
then that's it. it's gangbusters, right? I'm just
And
saying,
that's what's been happening.
for me, I just want to go on record, and whether if I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong. I think it's the beginning of the end. I really think that
All right.
Mark is dumping all this freaking money because he knows that they've got 2, 3, 4, 5 year runway before all that advertising revenue dries the fuck up. And if they don't get people to switch to this metaverse, it's the end of Meta. I really,
Yeah, I think you're being a little too dire.
Okay, but I'm just again, this is just my
Yeah.
opinion. The other part of it is this: when they were talking on the All In podcast, it's something that I've never heard before. One of the guys was saying, "Well, I forgot who it was. He was saying, I think VR, the way that we know it now, the way that Mark Zuckerberg is positioning it, is a stepping stone to AR."
Yeah, but
And
he's
I'm
doing
like,
that too. This is the thing.
yeah, but no, but my point is, I never considered it that way. I considered AR a stepping stone to get people to be fully immersed. I never saw it as like people.
No,
I saw it as like
no.
the way that you get people comfortable with some sort of wearable headset, where it's like interacting with reality, is you get them in AR. This is where I think Apple's going with it. This is why I think Apple is the key to this thing. I think Apple, if whether or not Meta succeeds or fails, I think Apple is the key to that. I think Apple is the company that's going to make it like, oh, this is pretty cool. This is mainstream. Who else is doing it? And then Facebook or Meta becomes the Windows to the Apple, right? To the Apple side. It's like there's two.
That sounds pretty good, by the way.
No, and not it could be. This is what it could be, but I never considered that AR would be the end goal. I always considered like AR is just going to be like, oh, I'm walking by a restaurant and I can see the menu, as I walk by, or I'm driving along and I can see driving instructions. But I always saw AR as being a stepping stone to full VR, where people abandon any part of the augmented part and just live in the virtual reality. But they're seeing it the other way around. They're seeing that people will maybe accept VR for a little while, but ultimately what people want is to still be based in reality. And Mark Zuckerberg's bet is that at a certain point, for a certain percentage of everyone's day, they're going to want to escape actual reality on more than a game level and be involved in something completely virtual, right? Like
he's trying to make it
cruises, virtual, you know what I mean? Like that's
an exercise. By the way, exercising is
everything.
A big thing for
and I know people that do that. And that's but I don't know. I just wanted to go on record after seeing what I'm seeing and just feeling what I'm feeling. I think that Meta is in for some tough times. And I'm going to say, friends don't let friends buy Meta stock. I'll go on the record. Now, you're the opposite. So this is great. Because
the reason I want to say that, you should have said that when it was like 360, like this kind of bear case, not when it's $110. Like that's the wrong time to be saying that Meta's not, like it could easily double and triple from here and no one would be surprised, by the way.
But if it doubles and triples from where it is here, it's going to go back to, it's lost 700 billion. I mean, that's
but that's fine. But the investor coming in doesn't care whether I was 700 billion.
Right.
He's seeing it right now, and he's like, okay, I can make a double or a triple. So my point is that you're coming in at the wrong time to give this massive bear case on Meta when it's already down 70, 80% of loss.
Yeah, but wait. Let me be clear. I'm not saying that you can't make money on that. I do think that everything has been oversold. I think we're in absolute panic, and I don't think until the Fed pivots and changes, we're not going to see the true valuations of these companies. And by that, I don't mean like what they should be valued at. I mean by what Wall Street is going to value them at. Like we don't know what they're going to be valued at. We don't know
what they're valuing them at this price. That's what they're
because
doing.
Everything is shit right now. But once it gets back to normal, then we will see what Wall Street actually thinks these companies are worth. And then everybody will come around it and justify it, right? So yes, you could probably make a lot of money on Meta right now for it to return to what it was. But I'm just saying, long term, I don't think that Meta is the player in this space.
What year? Are we talking 2030?
Oh, I don't know. With the macro environment the way it is now, I don't know, because it's all been thrown off, and I think everyone's
Well, I would say 20
have been thrown
I,
off.
I would say 2030 if Meta is not established a dominant, well, it's already dominant in VR, by the way. But if assuming other companies are there, Apple, Google, Microsoft, they're there with their products legitimately, not the shit that they have right now. And Apple has nothing, by the way. So if they have actual legitimate products and Meta's not at least number 2, then but that's a 2030 game. I don't think we know until that comes around, because it's like the cell phone thing. Who knew Apple would come in and dominate it? We would have bet 20 years ago that, BlackBerry is going to obviously control the market forever, or AT&T is going to come out with a better phone, or some stupid thing.
Yeah.
Or Microsoft, by the way. Microsoft was involved, but they were making shitty little.
Look, I got to go back to what I said earlier. That Sidekick, for anyone that remembers it, that was like an amazing little device. It was like the freaking Game Boy of
this is what I mean. Like,
it was such an amazing.
But they're all dead.
I really thought that
they're
was
all dead.
They're all dead. But here's the thing: when Apple came out with the iPhone, it was so clear that it was the winner. It was immediate.
I understand that, and that's why I believe. And Tesla's the winner. We believe that immediately.
Do you get that feeling when you saw the Oculus?
Yes, when I saw the Oculus,
you were like,
got into it. I was like, oh my God, they've won.
Wow, really? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But the difference is it's just not a necessary product yet. So that's the difference. So meaning you don't need an Oculus to have a good time. You can go buy a Switch. Because it doesn't have everything yet that we want. We want that AR capability. We want that complete virtual world to happen. We want those good graphics. So until we get all of that, I don't think it's going to be as obvious as the iPhone. But when the BlackBerry came out, everybody went to the BlackBerry.
I know, but the point is, it was obvious to everybody. This is the thing. You didn't have to wait. The iPhone came out. He was like, look, use your finger. Done. No instruction manual.
That's true, but
there was no ramp up period. Everyone was just like, "This is clean."
No, but everybody had a phone before then. Even I acquiesced, and I had a phone.
You have eyes.
No. But I'm saying
everyone has eyes.
Even I had like a flip phone or whatever I had before the iPhone. Okay, meaning everybody knew they needed a phone. That was already done.
All right, I'm like 4 shots in right now.
Hold
on.
Where are you at,
bro? Where are you at, bro?
I'm 1 beer, less than 1 beer.
All right, come on, man. Talking about Meta. All right.
Anyway, okay, we're going back and forth. Let's see some comments.
Let's look at the chat. Let's look at the chat. Okay, I'm going to go back a little bit. All right, Sonny Coates, up early for a flight back to the States, rocking with y'all. What's up, Sonny? OBG, can't get into TikTok either. It's mostly service level, mindless garbage. It's so true.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Let's start at the top. We missed a bunch. Hold on.
Carlos, what do you think about Duolingo? I don't know enough about it.
The Zuckmeister wants that metaverse bad. Okay.
He does. No, listen, he does, bro. He does.
Okay, what is this? Kevin, hold on. Cameron Vincent. Kevin, no clue. RSI is low. What are we talking about? I don't know what that is.
I think we're talking about.
He's talking with Kevin. So moving on. Let me see. Okay, $70 too low. They're talking about Tesla here.
70
lemonade.
Bucks too low, but all of us voted like 69.69. Yo, at 69.69, you
dude,
back up the damn truck. You take out a second mortgage.
No. I mean, first of all, it's stupid obvious that around $60, Tesla's $70 it's a buy. It's stupid. Well, forget about oversold. It's a buy. Okay, unless they've really just stopped producing cars and they're not growing like they said 40% plus. If that changes, then I give you that. It shouldn't be worth as much, but. If that hasn't changed and we're 40% plus, I'm buying.
You know, the other thing I was going to mention is all of this exposure that Elon Musk has had, even on the negative side, right, has brought attention to his other companies. I do think that they're making a lot more Tesla investors now than they did before, because before that, just the fact that he's in the news all the time, I think people are doing hopefully their own independent research. And I think we've gotten a bunch of new people in the tent. Twitter is going to buy Meta in 10 years.
Twitter, yeah, that's funny.
Cameron Vincent, why would we even need a metaverse if we get Neuralink? Okay, that's interesting. Meta is trash.
Well, come on. Oh, well, that's ridiculous. Cameron, come on. That's going to take so long. Forget about that.
That is true. See, that's something I can agree on. That's going to take forever. Meta will be Xanadu 2.0.
I guess that's not good.
Right.
Sounded good.
Pilot agrees with me. Meta death. I agree with Carl. Okay, I'm just saying, yo, I'm just like
All
friends
right.
don't
Well,
make friends by Meta. Yo, I'm just saying, like,
you and Cameron can go hang out and talk about Meta all you
I
want.
just like, no, here's the thing. Listen, you're a smart guy, and
Sony, Microsoft, Nvidia.
I agree with a lot of what you say or how you come to your conclusions. Like if I can follow
Yeah.
along with it, but this is just one instance where I'm like, I think you want it to be true so bad that
No,
you
I
might
actually
not be
didn't want it to
open
be true.
seeing, like, what do you think of Carmack leaving? If Elon Musk left Tesla, would you be as
Well, hold on,
bullish on it?
First of all, Carmack is not Elon. That's not the same thing. I actually know a lot about Carmack. I read books about him.
But what about what he's
I followed
saying?
him as a programmer.
Okay.
Carmack is a good technologist. He is not actually a people leader person. He's not good at that. He's a weird dude.
Okay, but
who's
what do
very
you need?
technical.
But what do you need to make this metaverse thing a reality? To make Mark
No.
Zuckerberg's
I'll
idea
give
of
you.
metaverse a
I'll
reality?
give you an example. If you had two strong A-type personalities, like an Elon and a Zuck in one company, do you think that'll work?
No, but I
Long
don't
term,
wait. But
this
I
is
don't-
what
wait,
you
wait, wait,
have
wait.
between these
Well,
two.
No. Hold on. What you're describing is Woz and Jobs. That's what you're describing.
Nope, no, I'm not.
Wait. The
Nope.
visionary
Woz was
guy.
a quiet guy.
Hold
Carmack
on.
is not a quiet
No,
guy.
I'm not saying he's quiet, but I'm saying Woz was the guy that knows how to
Yep.
do the shit, but wasn't necessarily the people person. And Jobs was the guy that's like, I have a vision, and I can know we can make it work if we just make it work. Make it work. Make it
See,
work.
I actually know their history. You don't. This is the problem. Woz was
I don't
the
need to-
quiet
okay.
engineer who just wanted to sit and tinker with his toys.
Okay. But I don't-
Carmack runs whole teams.
Right.
Okay, is in charge of going and doing all of these meta talks and explaining what's going on. That was
Yeah.
never the Woz. That was never the Woz trying to
Not
like
the point. The
change
point
everything.
is I'm listening to what I'm hearing Carmack saying. And Carmack left the company because he felt like they're on the wrong track. He feels like what Mark is trying to do
believe
is
him.
not what he thinks the metaverse should be.
And
it's
that's why I'm
also-
dinged. I am dinged by that.
All right. So so first of all, how does
I don't
how
like
does-
Carmack leaving. I wanted him to be there.
number one, how does Meta recover from that? And number two, what happens if
Okay,
Carmack goes-
well, we got to change subjects because we can go back and forth on Meta forever and Tesla.
But what happens
Well,
if Carmack goes to Google or Carmack goes
No,
to
he's not. He started his own thing.
or
He's
he
not
starts
doing
his
anything.
own thing?
He actually stopped this whole Oculus thing completely, meaning
Okay.
the whole VR thing. He went to a different business. He's like, fuck all this shit.
He's
Working
done.
with Zuck with 10 years will do that to you.
All right. Cool. All right. I'm just like,
Yeah,
I just wanted to say, look, Nate agrees with you. Nate in the chat. Nate Endicott is saying Meta is not dead.
No, it's not.
Same.
I don't even care if it's, first of all, it's a smaller part of my position. Do I want it dead? No. But the only thing I need to succeed is Tesla and Enphase. Okay,
Yes.
just to be clear.
Or Meta
Those are the
gets
only two.
back, or Meta goes back to it gets its 700 billion back.
But even then, I would never make as much as I would with Tesla and Enphase to come back to where they, like, well,
right,
not
but with the
Enphase, it's
calls,
already
that's what I'm
there.
saying. If you have 2-year calls and the Fed pivots and
No,
Meta
but
pulls a
I
couple of
never
good
put in
quarters-
a big percentage of my portfolio, so it doesn't matter. I need it to go 10, 15x. I need the Oculus to be like the winner, complete winner, dominate 100%. So I don't need a $700 billion Meta. I need a $3 trillion Meta. That's what I need.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
That's
bit
a long
hefty.
term. That's what I
Yeah,
mean. That's a long term
bit-
thing for me.
That's a bit hefty. And whatever. I just wanted to go on record and saying it because I've never come out and said it. I'm really skeptical about. I've said it in a roundabout way, but I just needed to.
Guys in the
record.
chat, can you tell us if he's never said that he hates Meta and he thinks it's going down?
Wait, no. There's a difference between saying like I don't necessarily believe in what Mark's doing or whatever, but it's a difference between saying that and saying like I actually think that Meta's best days are behind it, and I think their situation is a lot more dire than what we know publicly right now. And I'm basing this on Mark Zuckerberg's moves as a CEO, dumping that much money into the metaverse against the will of the shareholders and against the will of what the general public seems to want is one of two reasons. Either he is so convinced that this is the shit that he's got to get first mover advantage because he knows Apple's coming, he knows Google's coming, and he knows that if he gets in first, that's it. Winner take most. Or that if he doesn't make this succeed, then Meta is struggling.
I think you're missing one thing. Apple has forced his hand in all of this. This is what you're not discussing. Apple changed their whole policy, took away $10 billion from Mark's pocket, God knows how much from anybody else, like Snapchat too. That's why they're all
Yeah.
fucked. Apple did this because they're a monopoly and they
Yeah.
control the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So as soon as they get their comeuppance, eventually they will. They'll have to either revert their policy or the government will step in and say, "Hey, you can't be doing ads, selling ads to people while you tell them they can't sell ads." That's what they're doing. They're literally a fucking monopoly, like
What you saying,
complete.
Apple? What you saying,
Oh
Apple?
yeah, Apple. Yeah,
All Apple
Meta's
gave
on
was the
Apple's
user.
platform.
Yes, and that to me is the heart of the problem. I think this is Zuck being like, these motherfuckers
Took
can
away 10
flip a
billion dollars.
switch. Yes, I think that's what it
Yeah.
is. I mean, these guys are people, and he's
Yeah,
like,
it's a
yo,
lot to do with that.
I'm fucking Mark Zuckerberg. How dare you? How dare anyone have this much
Control,
control
I
over
agree
my
with him.
company? And he's
But
like,
I agree with
am
him.
going to. I listen. I agree with him too. I'm just not convinced that this metaverse is going to be the thing. That's why I think Apple's in a comfortable position.
This is why it's a 3%, 2%, 1% bet. I
And
don't
this
even know what it
why
is anymore.
it's a see you in 2030 thing. I'm really
Yeah.
curious what's going to happen. But my
right.
belief, my feeling is that Apple wins. I feel like Apple wins this.
Once
I
again,
feel
like
Apple.
your feelings don't matter. We need to
I'm
see
not-
actual
no, but
products.
I
Yeah.
know. Listen, I know, but I'm just saying, in terms of how Apple typically enters markets, it's just curious what Apple chooses to do. and not
You know,
do.
you have an
know
Apple
what I mean?
blindness too, because Apple's been dominant for a long time. And we know, I mean, this could be true for a lot of these companies, and I'll tell my plan for 2023.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these companies have been dominant for a long time, including Apple.
Mm-hmm.
There could be a way that Apple is not as dominant for the next decade. I don't know what that is yet. I have no idea. Maybe it is the metaverse. Who knows what it is?
No,
I don't know.
where do you think Apple would fail? Like where do you think would be?
It has nothing to do with failing. It has nothing to do with failing. IBM is still around. By the way, IBM is still around doing whatever the fuck IBM does.
They're paying you your 5% or whatever it is.
No, but I have no idea what they're doing. But they're doing
Right.
something. AT&T's still around. I don't know what they do
But
because
I mean,
nobody has their
okay,
phones.
wait, but, okay, but where would be the cracks? It's like declining iPhone sales. Would it?
Well,
be,
we already know it's declining iPhone sales, and the extent of people getting new iPhones is less necessary. So now it's maybe 3 years. It used to be every year. Then it was every 2 years. Now it's every 3 years. I don't know if it's going to be every 5 years because, like, for example, PCs, you don't need to buy a PC. It's once a decade now. So maybe eventually, like in a couple of years, Apple will have saturated everything and we just don't need any more iPhones. We fucking don't need it.
Listen, I agree with you, and I'll make a statement. I'll make a statement that not every company that has a growth trajectory has a plan for becoming a value company.
And I think
Not every-
Apple is clearly on its way.
That could be it. I mean, Apple is on clearly a growth trajectory, and I don't know that they're ready.
No, it's on a value
but-
trajectory. It's
hold
not on
on,
a growth
but-
trajectory.
But I'm saying, like, they've been typically on a growth trajectory. They're looking to try to grow products and services, but they're also paying you a dividend. I mean, it's kind of a perfect company.
Well, I'm not saying it's not a bad.
Do you know what
I
I'm
have
saying?
Apple stock. By the way, if
Like-
Apple succeeds, I still do well. Just FYI.
Yeah, but
I have Apple
I'm
stock.
saying if okay, what if a game changer for me? Honestly, a game changer for me would be if Meta offered a dividend. Wouldn't that be
Well, I think a lot of these companies will actually. I don't know if Meta will do that first, but Google
like, or even Tesla? I mean, imagine if Tesla or
No, I don't
Meta
want Tesla to do that
offered
yet. I don't want that.
I'm saying if they had 5 years from now, when they're at their 7 or 10 million a year, that is a game changer, dude. Instead
yeah,
of doing
yeah.
buybacks, I'm saying just offer a dividend. I mean, that would be
I actually prefer the dividends over the
me too.
buybacks. I know.
Me too.
I know people like because they don't have a tax, a tax implication that happens. Because when you get a dividend, you have to pay taxes on it. But I always say cash is better than no cash. I mean, like, it's obviously better to just get the money and let me do what I want with it, as opposed to you telling me what to do with the money. But I don't think. Well,
What you're
Tesla
saying
should
as
never do
a
that.
dividend versus a buyback?
I prefer the dividends, meaning like I like when there's even a special dividend or whatever. Like if Tesla did a special dividend eventually, like right now with this environment, by the way, the $10 billion buyback, totally useless. I don't think they should do it. They should wait maybe till $60. If that happens, then fine, buy $10 billion worth of stock back.
Yeah.
But I really don't think they should do that. They have better uses for their money. I'd rather them build more factories, hire more engineers for full self-driving, make the bot a reality, do whatever you want because Elon has all these ideas. I'd rather him throw money at engineering ideas that will 10x, 20x, 100x, you know?
Yeah. And I agree with you. I don't think the time Like I thought originally, like maybe before the end of the year, but seeing what's happening to the stock, no, I don't think. I think if they did it now, I think if
Yeah.
they did it now, it would trigger a massive sell-off. I actually think it would just
I don't
trigger
think it'll go up. It'll be like a blip and then
a
straight
blip. Yeah, it'd
down.
be like a 1% up and 5% down.
Well, this
I
way,
agree with you. I agree with you.
if they did a special dividend and they just gave us money, I'll take it. No problem.
Why do you ever say no to that?
No, but I think that's a better use of money. Give it back to the shareholders who have supported you for years. I don't believe in this share buyback stuff. I know Warren Buffett is big on it, and it helps eventually. That it's going to make a lot of sense. And maybe at like $60, $70, $80, it makes a lot more sense to just do that $10 billion buyback.
Well, even for their own bottom line, it's like buying Bitcoin, right? It's like saying, where are you going to get the returns? It's that's showing a confidence.
Right. Our stock is now way too cheap.
Our stock is way too cheap, and we know that
Right.
we know what we're going to post quarter after quarter after quarter, and so just for the simple ROI, it makes sense to buy back our own stock.
And Enphase, I know they were buying back stock, and I really hope they're not buying back stock right now. Like, I don't want Badri to be buying $300 share stock because I don't know. Like I said, in this environment, this could easily be a $200 stock. Like, there's nothing in my mind that says that it can't be.
In this environment, I think if they buy back their own stock, it's going to be seen as like, oh, let's just scoop it up, just sell and take that profit. If they buy 10 billion of their stock, someone's going to take it. It's not going to sit in the stock. It's not going to do what they expect it to do.
No, it's going to go back down.
That's what I think. So
I think we should we should wrap this up though.
We should wrap this up. Okay. So what do we say? Okay, let's just look a little bit more of the chat.
Yeah. Carlos sounds like one of the guys that keeps talking about the Apple
I know.
environment. Or what. Apple EV, right? Apple EV. There you go.
Oh, I'm not even thinking, dude. I'm not even thinking about the Apple EV. I'm not even thinking about it. If they announced an EV, dude,
dividends suck.
In this environment, dividends suck so bad. Why would you want to get taxed?
By the way, I have a dividend portfolio. And first of all, tax twice my ass. It's bullshit. Because when you go to work, you get taxed for the money you make.
Right.
If you get dividends, big deal. You get taxed. People treat like when you're getting taxed, you're making money. By the way, people keep forgetting that part of it, that you're actually making an income, and you're getting taxed on that income.
This is how people live. This is literally how people live.
I know. So go ahead, pay me. Yeah,
right.
Pay me the money, pay me the dividends, and let me get taxed for it. Fine, but then I can use 70% for what I want at least. You know?
All right. So, and we'll get into this. If you guys, anyone watching now, we're going to get into this in the in our finance junkies. We just had a hard time getting everybody together today. So, like, biggest surprise of 2022 and what your expectations are for 2023.
Biggest surprise? No, I think it's I think Tesla wins the cake here in terms of tanking the most. Well, they didn't tank the most, but just tanking how hard they're doing it. And in retrospect, just looking at the chart and just thinking through, it's not a surprise. Once you're living in it, you're like, oh, this sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
We can talk about Twitter, but at this point, it has nothing to do with Twitter. It has everything to do with the macro. And Elon just helped it along. He's just like, okay, let's fast forward this. Let's fast forward this a little bit. Enphase going to 330.
That was a surprise.
I didn't think that would happen so quickly, like especially in this environment. I thought, oh, it can't do that well. But this is the surprising thing, that even though you think something can't happen or should happen, it doesn't, or it does. Like, if that makes sense. So we don't know what's going to happen in 2023. But the way I'm positioning myself is, I'm just going to buy the companies that I really believe in and that I use too. Amazon, Google. Maybe Apple if it really craters. Not yet. I don't think it's down enough. Meta. I'm just going to buy the FANG stocks, except Netflix. I'm not sure about Netflix yet.
Yeah.
I still have only 5 shares. I have never bought more than 5 shares.
I can hear Amit screaming somewhere right now. Fuck Netflix.
Yeah, I'm not going into Roku. I'm not a Kathy Wood. But yeah, I'm just going to continue dollar cost averaging. And I did today into Amazon, Google, and Tesla. And I'll just keep doing that because at the end of the day, I think that's where my money will compound the easiest. Maybe not the best. I'm not saying it's the best. It's not the highest growth. Like, for example, there are other stocks like Enphase, which I do have a small position in. That might compound way faster, but there's no way I'm putting 90% of my fortune into Enphase, or I'm not putting it into, in Nivitas. I think it's Nivitas. We're chatting on the Discord about
what the EV airplane.
No, they make GaN, like for semiconductors.
Oh, okay.
Gallium nitride or whatever. So
yeah.
I think I'm saying it right. I'm sure Johnny Boy will call me out on this one. But basically, there's a lot of stocks that might actually outperform Tesla, Google, Meta, Amazon. I don't care. I mean, at a certain point, if you put a lot of money into Amazon and it's down $1 trillion, I'm sure I'll be happy in 5 years. Maybe it's not next year. I think I'll do fine. So I'm just going to keep dollar cost averaging into high quality that's been crushed.
Yeah.
Like, why would I go into lemonade? I keep going back
Yeah.
into that. Amazon is down 60%. Why do I need lemonade?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was one of my biggest takeaways of the year too. I understand now why these companies have such massive market caps now, because in these environments, where do you run? Where do you
Right.
hide your money? This is where you go.
AT&T. They
Yeah,
went
yeah.
up today.
No, listen, AT&T. AT&T is another one. I know it's such a boring stock. I know, like Money in the Bank, one of our viewers wants us to do a video, and like we should, because I'm happy AT&T exists. It's like it's holding my IRA. It's like,
Yeah, it's
I'm
paying me my dividends.
happy. It's just paying me my dividend every quarter. And like, I think the biggest surprise for me this year was how quickly the narrative turned on Elon Musk when he pissed off the wrong people. That's what really surprised me. But it also makes me remember how hated Bill Gates was in the 90s, how
Yep.
hated Jeff Bezos was in the 2000s and 2010s. And I do believe that eventually that sentiment will turn around. I do believe that Elon will make Twitter something fantastic that we're not really aware of yet. Few people are aware of it. It doesn't really matter because we can invest in it now. But I do think that the black cloud that people are saying, because I do think a lot of it is just bullshit. I think the money that's come out of Tesla would have come out anyway, whether he bought Twitter or not. But it's really easy to blame it on Elon, right? I do think he's going to turn it into an amazing product. How well it will do against, Google or Facebook is yet to be seen, but I do think he's going to make it profitable and he's going to make it a great company. I was really surprised at how quickly the narrative turned against Elon Musk. And looking for 2023, I think you're right. I agree with you that I think my strategy for 2023 is just do the smart thing. Put your money in, like you said, these massive companies that are clearly doing well and that have been beaten down to shit and are going to bounce back, whether or not it's in 2023 or 2024. Where else are you going to put your money? I really,
Here's what's funny.
mostly Google for me, honestly.
Well, the narrative is so bad right now. People are discussing whether Amazon is a good company to invest in.
Exactly. And it's like, duh, everything that I ordered for Christmas is on fucking Amazon. Like, are you kidding me?
I have no idea how they're even discussing. Like, honestly, I don't get it.
Right. If you're questioning Amazon's dominance, then yes, you got to invest. And so
yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
Boring year investment wise. Yes, it's going to be a really boring year. It's going to be DCing as much as I can into Tesla when I feel like we've have some sort of sentiment turn. Also trying to accumulate as much crypto as I can before the next halving in 2024 and the next election. And building and growing positions in some of these massive companies that have come down, except for Meta.
No, I definitely want to buy more Meta. But the other thing I want to mention is that I've been standing by for the real estate to sort of at least go down, not collapse. I don't think real estate's collapsing, just because we don't have enough housing, the bottom line.
Yeah.
And so I think next year, even if the rates are high, I'm looking more into seeing if there's another multifamily I can acquire, because at the end of the day, I've been in real estate for a long time and it has never done poorly.
Yeah, it never does bad.
Okay.
I was talking to my sister. I was literally
even for a year, if it goes down, it's 3 years later, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah. It's that long-term growth and that rent as the dividend.
And this is why that Cameron guy, Vincent Cameron, or what's his name?
Cameron Vincent.
Dividends, you have to think of dividends as like you deserve them as being an investor. Real estate is a perfect example of that. Like, why do you want dividends? Well, it's called rent. Okay. And they pay you every month this dividend that you have to claim on your income tax and say you made a profit. And guess what? I live off of that. That's basically what I've lived off for the last 4 or 5 years. So I don't mind paying some taxes on income that comes.
Well, because the alternative is you still have to make that money, but you have to give up something for it.
So I don't mind dividends at all.
Yeah. Anyway,
all right. Cheers,
dude. Cheers, dude.
So happy 2023 and beyond, and hopefully we survive it.
Let's we weathered a bloody ass year, and it's gonna be more pain. I think we'll be right here at the end of 2023 saying the same shit, to be honest. Except we'll have grown up positions. I just don't see that we're gonna get out of this easy.
Yeah, and the positive is that look, if you wanted to buy Amazon and you thought it was too expensive, well, guess what? It's becoming not expensive. So maybe you should get some Amazon. You know what I mean?
Little by little, yeah. And if you
Yeah.
don't have the cash, you buy it in M1 and dollar cost average or fractional share your way in. But
Right.
like, this is a real buying opportunity. I think I've learned this. This shows you how the wealth is transferred to the uber wealthy. This shows you exactly
Yep.
how it is. These people just know. Every retail investor that's selling right now is giving your money to an institutional investor that can hold, whose financial time frame is greater than ours, and I refuse to give them my money. I just absolutely refuse to give them my money. I'm not going to lose to these guys. It's that whole GameStop AMC thing played out over years versus
Mhm.
several months, but like this is how they take our money. You know what I mean?
It
And
is.
I'm not gonna let them take our money.
There was a comment about Tesla from, I forgot the YouTuber, but it was a smart one on Twitter, and he said, "Yeah, you guys are right. Don't be buying Tesla at 100. It's much better you wait till 300 and buy it like a boss." I think I
Right.
wait.
Oh
Let me
yeah, I
see.
did see that, and that actually,
Hold
yeah,
on, I think I have it right here. I think I put it up. It was so good. I'll just
that's
show you
actually a
this.
perfect way to say it. No, it's true.
Yeah, it's somewhere here. Hold on, let me see. Because it was so good. It was so well worded. And that's Chris being bearish. Okay, moving on. Oh yeah, it was Sasha Yanshin.
Sasha Yanshin.
Best avoid Tesla at 112. Will be plenty of opportunities to go in like a boss at 300. I
I
thought
mean,
they should have had more likes, guys. I mean, seriously.
yeah, that I'm gonna go back to my mic. Hold on, real quick.
Oh, real time like? We're getting a
Yeah,
real
real
time
time.
like?
Let me go in there and just like that shit because it's true.
Yeah,
It's true. There we
this is
go.
taking you a long time.
I'm like 4 shots in right now. There we go.
Boom. That's what we waited for, guys. Okay, happy new year and see you on the
Happy New
next
Year to
one.
all you fuckers out there. It's been great. We'll grow the channel. Maybe we'll get if we can, we're gonna do some videos before the end of the year and try to get to that 3,000 sub. I want to see a 3 in front of that number, man. We are real close. 2,940 subs. We need 60 people.
I think we lost some subs on this one.
I'm sure we did. I'm sure as
Alright.
the alcohol flowing. But that's good. It's always good. Always good to hang out. Enjoy the rest of your vacation.